This video was brought to you by Squarespace. What's going on? Pokemon Pokopia is finally here. A more general use of the word here, and I am here in a more direct and immediate way, talking to you to give you my impressions of the game so far. Naturally, Pokemon is a very interesting topic. People do seem to be particularly interested in knowing what I and others think of the game. The early review scores were very, very, very positive. A lot of people very kind of suspicious of those scores. And you know what? I do very, very briefly, I do want to touch on this. I feel like I'm seeing something of like a recency bias kind of thing going on. A lot of people just be like, a Pokemon game? That's actually good? You gotta be kidding me. But it's like, Pokemon makes good games, right? Like, Pokemon, there have been good Pokemon games. I know like Legends ZA was kind of like mediocre and really cheap in a lot of ways. And because of people's tendency to fall into the recency bias trap, I think that's kind of formed this narrative that like no Pokemon games ever are good, but like that's not true. They're just really uneven. Scarlet and Violet were like visually unfinished and ran terribly, but other than that, like they're still really good games, right? Like it was still good, and I'd argue that like Legends Arceus was just straight up good. Yeah, it technically could have looked slightly better, but it's just a good game. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. A little ambitious, but like people liked it, so I'm just saying, like, it's possible for Pokemon games to be good. I never really had any doubt that this one would be good. Yeah, it's not even made by Game Freak directly. It's this winning combination of ideas. But I guess the question is, how good is it? Even if one is open to the idea of it being a good game, is it as good as all of those like glowing reviews on Metacritic say? Well, I have not played enough of the game to know for sure. This is an early impressions video after all. But so far, my experience has been rather positive. I've played a good number of hours. I've completed what seems to be the first like major story milestone. I've rebuilt the first Pokemon Center, and I can say quite confidently that I have had a lot of fun so far. The early game reminds me a lot of my time with Stardew Valley, where like one reason that game just captured my attention just so immediately, it's hooks, it just sank so deep into me so quickly, was that like very early on, you are presented with all of these things to do, all of these activities, just all of these different mechanics and ideas and loops to engage with. And it's like a buffet. It's just this like, whoo, like I could just kind of look around and I could just kind of do whatever I want. And Pokopia, it's got like the little tutorial section. And like if, less patient folks who just want to dive in, maybe like a little tiny bit frustrated, I suppose, you're kind of let for like a little bit, but like it really doesn't take too long before it just kind of swings the doors open. It's just kind of like, okay, like you've got like a framework for what you're supposed to be doing. But it really does open up. It's really not long before it's just like, oh, like, there's a lot I could be doing. It gives you a lot of goals to work with that you can do within a small area. Like you're building these little habitats for Pokemon, and you've got your little starting area. And so there's kind of like, I have this tendency to want to like stick close to all the stuff that I already have, but then it's just like, wow, I really can just kind of like climb up this cliff over here and just see what's over there. Or like I can like break through a wall and like find a new place. So like the sense of discovery early on is actually like very good. It's very strong. It's such a quaint, cute little experience, and yet there's this grandiosity that's kind of calling to you. It gives you the tools. It gives you the basic idea of what you should be doing. But then it's like really fun to just kind of like wander around and see what you find. And we'll talk about like the actual mechanics for a bit, but like vibes are good. Vibes are real good. Yeah, just the raw sense of discovery. I don't know what I'm gonna find. I don't know. I don't even know all of the mechanics that this game has. I don't even know all of the types of materials and types of items. So discovering that is fun, and you're finding all of these like half-destroyed structures. I think the idea is that I'm probably supposed to like rebuild them and refinish them. I haven't really done any of that, but you'll also find items lying around and like lore. there's lore everywhere. This game, like, I still don't know, like, what's going on, but, like this is basically a post-apocalypse game. It is. Like, really, they don't dance around it. It is a mystery, so I don't know what happened, but, like, there was something that happened here. There was some sort of disaster that, like, destroyed the world, and all of the humans had to, I don't think they died. I think they ran away or something. I don't know where they are. But, like, and something happened to everything, and something happened to the Pokemon. And so just, like, from the get-go, there really is a very, like, deep and compelling mystery. And I love that, because this so easily could have just been just a whatever cozy game. Like, it just, like, whatever. Like, it doesn't need, like, a deep story or anything. But the fact that they do that, it gives the entire experience this extra magical kind of sense. And yeah, again, like, there's lore peppered everywhere, and, like, I'm learning about the people who used to live here, and it's making references to, like, to stuff from the early games, but, like, this is what happened after that. And I don't know, yeah, it is pretty interesting. It is compelling, and just going around and finding journal entries and stuff, it just seems so like unnecessary. It didn't need to be there, but man, it really does enrich the entire experience. And yeah, it's just fun, like, discovering all the little mechanics and everything. It's exciting. Again, it's like Stardew Valley, where it's just like, the world is my oyster. You know, I could just kind of do anything. But yeah, as for, like, the actual, like, main gameplay loop, if you can boil it down to one idea that essentially drives everything, it is creating habitats. It's creating these little, like, microbiomes for Pokemon to live in. It is very much like Viva Pinata. You have to meet, like, a certain condition, but it's a little bit more focused than that. You know, you start out and it's just like, oh, just like 4 chunks of grass next to each other form a patch of grass. And there's a list of Pokemon that will be attracted to this patch of grass, and they're a little thing will, like, wiggle, and you, like, see who pops out, and you don't know who it's gonna be. And of course, like, Pokemon have rarities and stuff too, so to get them all, you'll need a bunch of different patches of grass. But then you have all of these different environment and terrain types, and I think that's really, really smart, you know, because yeah, it's Minecraft, it's Dragon Quest Builders. It's a world where you got squares of stuff. You know, you've got items, and you've got squares of terrain. It's dirt, it's flowers, it's lampposts, it's anything. And you take all of these different types of terrain and objects and food and really anything, and different combinations of them will attract different Pokemon. And I think this is positively genius. It means that, in theory, no item or terrain type will necessarily be worthless. You're always working towards something. You're always gathering new things. You never know, like, what kind of item, like, suddenly, like, this Pokemon needs a candle. I gotta put, like, 2 candles. And I found a grave up on a hill, so if I put two candles there, then that's gonna attract this ghost Pokemon. Or, yeah, I mean, it's all over the place. Yeah, you got a patch of flowers. It's 4 flowers. Okay, well, now 8 flowers is a field of flowers. You've got 4 flowers next to a tree. Now that's a tree-shaded patch of flowers, or whatever, you know, trees. Rocks, I imagine eventually it'll be different, maybe even different kinds of trees. Grass next to water is different from just grass, or grass next to the ocean. That's seaside grass. So you see, you have all of these different combinations. And discovering these combinations is really fun, because you start to learn the logic of it, and you just start, like, experimenting, and each time you put down a thing and it goes bring, you just discovered a new thing. It feels good, because it feels like you were kind of like you had an active part in discovering this thing. And then there's just the idea that eventually a Pokemon may be attracted to this spot, and, you know, like, the other Pokemon will kind of, like, clue you in. You'll see, like, the little word bubble being like, what's that? So you see, like, oh, Charmander's over there staring at the bush, and you gotta go over and see what Pokemon pops out, which itself is really fun. It's like when you throw a Pokeball and it wiggles 3 times, and you're like, oh, am I gonna catch it? It's really cute. It's this thing where, like, when they're gonna jump out of the bush, it does the same duh, 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 and then there's the big, like, surprise moment of what jumps out. It's very, very clever detail. But even more, you can find, like traces of Pokemon, and that'll give you a clue of, like, what environment type, what type of environment they live in. You can purchase more clues. So it's this whole thing of discovering new materials and discovering new things. You know, oh, I got, like, seeds to plant beans. Okay, well, like, this this Pokemon needs some bean plants. And so it's a really great loop. You're constantly discovering new Pokemon, but then you also want to keep the Pokemon that you have happy. And they will want different stuff, and they'll give you requests. This Pokemon is hungry, so you give them a Lepa Berry. Or they want a decoration, or a toy, or just like some different things. So, and you also use your materials and things for making the Pokemon happy. So like the more Pokemon you bring, and then the happier they are, that raises your overall level. And then as your level goes up, then you can buy new things from the shop. You've always got a huge list of challenges, just like, water 10 trees, pick up 50 sticks, plant this many flowers, discover this many Pokemon. So yeah, it's that perfect loop thing where it's just there's all these challenges, and you complete the challenges to make money. You're using the money to buy the stuff to help the Pokemon to make new so you see what I'm saying? Like it is a delicious feedback loop. It's one of those ones where like you don't have to play long before you're just like, yeah, like you really just need a little taste of it to just be like, yeah, he just gave me this item. I'm gonna go and turn that into an environment, and then that's gonna make a Pokemon pop up, and then I'm gonna, and then the Pokemon themselves give you new abilities. You know, Ditto learns abilities from them that lets you interact with the world in better ways. And now you're imagining all these other Pokemon that are probably gonna teach me new abilities, and it's just like you get a taste for it. And it's so tasty, so early on. You can feel the hours of your life just draining out of you. Like before you even have a chance to give them, you feel like the Dementor just like pull on your soul. It's it's dangerous. I can tell immediately that this game is very, very dangerous. Before we continue giving impressions of things, a quick reminder that this video was brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace makes building a website mega easy, even if you've got no experience at all. You can just grab a template, mess around with it, format your text, embed pictures and video, move stuff around, customize it however you want, and before long, you got yourself a slick website, all without writing so much as a single line of code. You can make pretty much anything, any combination of visual elements that could theoretically be on a website, you can do it. Whether it's something more casual and personal or something more professional for your business. Squarespace even offers powerful extensions if you need to supercharge your site. Like they really do have pretty much anything you need. My site, Arlo Recommends, is a simple blog, so I just draft up my posts, schedule them to automatically publish, and even push to social media, and I'm done. Easy to create and easy to maintain. And did I mention the lovely suite of analytics? I do so love analytics. To try out Squarespace for yourself, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. Then when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/Arlo to save 10% off your first website or domain. And now for today's recommendation. This YouTube channel that makes OSTs for fake retro games based on restaurant brands. It's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? And it's really great. Thanks again to Squarespace. Now please continue with the impressing. And like, it definitely could run the risk of becoming like too repetitive, but there's just enough different things to do that it always just kind of stays interesting. And, you know, of course, I'm early on in the game. For all I know, I'll play for another 5 hours and start to get bored with it or whatever. Not super likely, because I'm about to unlock some new stuff, and I'm like, ooh, like I'm really excited to unlock the new stuff. If anything, this first leg of the game, I can kind of sense that it's a little bit simplified. Especially based on what we've seen in the trailers. I can already sense, I can tell, there's more. I'm already pretty happy. Like I could play around in this starting area. Probably I could put a lot of hours into this, and that's the mark of a compelling game right there. When you're like, I could just keep playing this tutorial, like chapter 1 area, I could probably play this for 50 hours. So like knowing that there's more and I'm about to expand to more, and naturally there's all like the beautifying stuff. I'm not personally, I've said it before, I'm not personally into like the rebuilding and the decorating the towns and stuff, but like, oh man, if you are in not only like building a cool little town, but like having Pokemon's homes there, and you can like move their homes around if you want and create the little habitats in whatever place you want. If you wanted to do that really mindfully, to say you have your work cut out for you is an understatement. This is a game, I can already tell this is a game there's infinite potential playtime there. If you want to just like craft everything, like this is just an entire world that you could just, I want to put all of their homes in all these nice places and decorate everything. And no, I don't know. It's again, like you could just feel the hours just falling out of you. I'm just focused on like the goals, the real like tangible goals. And even I feel like there's a lot to do. So if you are into like that whole like Animal Crossing life sim, craft your little world as you see fit, this is that times a billion. And I will also say, like, something making the gameplay that much more fun. Just like, yeah, it's the vibes, you know, visually, it's really nice. It's really pleasant. It's nothing like super fancy, you know, like on a technical level, it really doesn't seem that much better than a Switch game, you know, like just, it really doesn't. I think the fact that it's such a big world and it's this big interactable world, like, yeah, it probably would struggle a bit more to run on Switch. For the most part, though, it looks like a Switch game that's running like a little better. Like, it looks like, you know what? It looks like a Switch 2 edition of a Switch game. It's like a Switch 1.2 kind of experience. However, it's still really nice. It's still really, it's just pleasant. It's chill. The music is really nice. And mainly, it is the personality. The personalities of the Pokemon, Professor Tangrowth, absolutely love them. It's very, very friendly. It really does create this sense of, it's almost like an urgency to rebuild this world and recreate this community and bring all of these Pokemon together. Again, because of the story, putting that like extra, not like pressure, but the extra incentive on you to do all of this. It's not just boxes to tick. It's not just, I need to get a Pidgey so I can do this thing. I need to get this material here. It's like, no, it's really genuinely enjoyable to watch the Pokemon show up. And like, so far, there's so many unique personalities. This is not like Animal Crossing where there's like 6 and they all repeat the same thing. Like, no, like they pretty much all have unique stuff to say. They pretty much all seem to have unique personalities so far. I've really not seen like any repetition in like dialogue, like basically at all, at least like from Pokemon to Pokemon. And it's just delightful. The Pokemon, they wander around and they like watch stuff happen and they remark on stuff and they're really helpful and they're friendly with each other. So it's like, and they like talk about each other, like, you know, in that kind of like, you know, the guy's gonna be like, oh, can you believe Bellsprout is here now? Like, obviously it's in that robotic game kind of way, but like you forget that. It's so easy to forget when I see the Bellsprout pop out of the grass and Bulbasaur is watching and is just like clearly delighted by it. And then Bulbasaur has like nice things to say about the Bellsprout. And then like you're watching them just be friends. You're watching them just like run around and like play with each other. It's just like, it is easy to forget. I remember reading that in 1 or 2 of the reviews. It's kind of easy to forget that you're just kind of playing a video game. It really is just a very friendly and community focused and very delightful kind of Pokemon experience in that escapist hopecore kind of way. I think hopecore is pretty much like a genre of game now. It's really nice to be in this this very barren landscape and just to breathe new life into it. You know, again, it's like early days in Stardew Valley when you're like clearing out your farm. There's so much you could do, especially if you love that kind of work, the beautification. There's always stuff to water, dry trees to water, junk to clear out and arrange, and landscape to level out. Again, you got your work cut out for you. If you like that, if you like just clean everything up, just make everything nice. Viva Pinata, that was another one. I just loved clearing the garden. I love just clearing out all the junk from the garden and making it look really nice. You're breathing life back into a barren place. You're bringing all of these Pokemon. They have their unique personalities. The dialogue is like really funny too, by the way. Like it's really funny. Again, they just have like so much character. Real, just genuine character. It's really funny seeing a Pokemon like with an accent, you know, like it's all just text, but like the way that they, like this one will kind of have like a southern accent, or just like, you know, an Onyx or someone will just call you bro. I don't know. It's just funny. And it doesn't have that same like copy paste feel that Animal Crossing does. And, I mean, like in a lot of ways, and I know like this is a really big claim here because Animal Crossing is great and everybody loves Animal Crossing, but like in a lot of ways, this game is eating Animal Crossing's lunch. This game is doing so much of what Animal Crossing does, but like even better, especially when it comes to all of the Pokemon and their personalities. And I mean, it's so much of the same stuff. They just kind of wander around and they have their little expressions and they interact with each other. Like so much of it is straight out of there, but it's been integrated so perfectly into the Pokemon experience. It's just, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, maybe I should just end it there, because this is supposed to be an early impressions video. It's tempting to just go into like everything, but if anything, my excitement to like go into this game and really talk about it, that is a testament to how fun it is so far. From the announcement trailer, it was obvious that this was a winning mix of ideas. And yet, yeah, now that I'm playing it, I really do, like, yeah, I still don't know if I could say what, you know, some of the reviews saying, it's elevated so far beyond the sum of its parts. I don't quite know yet. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna feel, because, you know, you play a game early on, you get that, like, early hype, but if that kind of gives way to something else later on, that's valid too. You gotta take it as a whole experience. But my first impression, my early impression is that, like, yeah, it really does kind of... It's a winning combination of ideas that does seem to be still maybe surprising in how well it works. It's a great idea, combination of ideas, but the execution is there. The execution so far is just, I don't know. They've really nailed it, you know? I mean, I cannot say enough about the Pokemon's personalities. Like, it's nothing super deep here or anything, but it really is just like, I'm seeing all the ways they really could have cheaped out. You know, in a lot of ways they could have just like copy-pasted a bunch of personalities. And so far, there's just so much effort put into that aspect, into the lore and the story, and even just like the little jobs that Professor Tangrowth gives you. We gotta rebuild the Pokemon Center, or we gotta build these things, or like we've got a problem we need to solve. With any game, especially like early on, that really does run the risk of feeling too tutorialized, feeling too like, oh, now I gotta help them gather 3 of these, but like, it feels good because that personality is so fun, and because I am invested in the idea of like revitalizing this world, so when they're like, we gotta solve this problem, I'm like, all right, like I'm there. I'm eager to solve the problem. And all the characters are so fun and they're like working on it together, you know? It really does give this sense that it's like this little family, this growing family, and we're all working together to like make this thing happen, to work toward a common goal. Yeah, it's easy to forget I'm talking to a Charmander, you know? It's really nice. It's really nice so far. It's impossible to say what my ultimate opinion of the game will be, or, you know, everyone's like, is it worth $70? Is it worth a Game Key card? Of course, I cannot answer those questions for you. Nobody can, but at the very, very least, I can say it's good so far. It is quite good so far. Also, I already suspected this would be the case, and maybe it's not fair to make this judgment. Maybe it is too early. But I do believe that Professor Tangrowth is my favorite Pokemon character, full stop. As far as just like speaking NPC characters in any of the games, or maybe even like all of the media overall, Professor Tangrowth is now my favorite. Like, it's absolutely no contest. I love them so much.